The Judgment Garden, the Garden of Colored Glass. This is a story about three monkeyteers who enter a dazzling garden where every thought seems to tint the world around them. Their sixth miracle-minded adventure begins when small judgments multiply into a landscape and they discover that no thought is neutral. The three monkeyteers arrived at a garden unlike any they had seen. Glass flowers shimmered, crystal butterflies flashed, fountains sparkled in rainbow colors. Spider Monkey spun around. "This place is incredible." Squirrel Monkey pointed toward a sign. "Welcome to the Garden of Colored Glass. Please think carefully," Howler Monkey laughed. "I always think carefully." Spider and Squirrel looked at him. "Usually," Howler added. They followed a path lined with clear glass roses. A peacock strutted past. Howler whispered, "That bird is showing off." The nearest roses turned gray. A rabbit hurried across the path carrying a basket. Squirrel frowned. He looked selfish. A row of tulips darkened. Then a gardener tripped over a hose and splashed Spider's boots. "Clumsy!" Spider snapped. The fountain clouded. A little sign popped from the ground. "One thought added." Another appeared beside Howler. Then one beside Squirrel. Soon the garden changed faster. Howler thought the gardener was lazy. Gray leaves appeared. Squirrel decided the rabbit was greedy. Thorns grew along the path. Spider called a parrot annoying. The sky turned dull. "What happened to the beautiful garden?" asked Spider. Howler pointed at the gardener. "Him." Squirrel pointed at the rabbit. "Him too." Dozens of signs sprang up. "One thought added." Squirrel reached beneath his cape. "Pouch time." He pulled out a tiny folded slip. Howler sighed. "I have a feeling this paper is about to accuse us." Squirrel opened it. The slip read, "Every thought teaches the mind what kind of world it wants to see." Spider frowned. "But these were tiny judgments." "Exactly," said Howler. "Barely judgments." Squirrel looked at the gray roses. "Maybe thoughts don't become harmless because they're small." Howler waved a hand. "It's only a little judgment. It doesn't matter." At once a glass vine curled around his boot. "Howler," said Spider. "Yes?" "The garden disagrees." They walked farther and found two enormous doors. One was marked, "The world is against me." The other read, "The world can be seen anew." Spider stared. "We didn't choose either door." A gardener nearby smiled. "You have been choosing all afternoon." "How?" "One thought at a time." The monkeyteers looked back. No single gray flower had seemed important. No single thorn seemed dangerous. But together their judgments had created a very different garden. Spider sat on a bench. "So every thought is like planting something?" The gardener nodded. "And then you walk through what you planted." Howler looked horrified. "I have planted several speeches." "That explains the weeds," said Spider. Howler gave him a look. A weed sprouted between them. Spider pointed. "There, I almost did it again." Howler laughed. The weed unfolded into a yellow flower. Squirrel blinked. "What did you think?" "That this whole thing is ridiculous." Spider raised an eyebrow. Howler smiled. "And that I love traveling with you two ridiculous monkeys." More yellow flowers appeared. Squirrel looked at the rabbit. Instead of deciding the basket was selfish, he wondered if the rabbit might be carrying food home to someone. The thorns softened. Spider looked at the gardener who had splashed his boots. Maybe clumsy wasn't the whole truth. The fountain cleared. Howler watched the peacock. Perhaps magnificent is more accurate than showing off. The roses brightened. The monkeyteers walked slowly, noticing what each thought was teaching them. Spider paused beside a cracked flower. "What if I judge and then notice it?" "Then noticing gives us another choice," said Squirrel. Howler nodded. "Monkey mind says one tiny judgment cannot matter." Spider looked across the garden. "But tiny judgments can build an entire world." Squirrel returned the slip to the pouch. "And Miracle Mind remembers that every thought is choosing what we want to see." The sun broke through. The glass garden glittered. Howler covered his eyes. "Now this is excessive." A nearby rose turned gray. Howler gasped. "Fine, magnificent." The rose flashed pink. Spider and Squirrel burst out laughing. Howler joined them. The three monkeyteers tossed their feathered hats into the air and cheered together. "One for all and all for one." And then they shouted, "Love all, for all is love."